Hey everybody, I'm Vera Stewart and welcome to the VeryVera Show. I'm so excited about today's show. You know, it is National Women-Owned Business Day at the beginning of October, but we're going to celebrate this entire month because I'm introducing you to somebody that you're going to want to learn lots more about. Amanda Wilbanks is the owner of Southern Baked Pie. She founded in 2012. The similarities between us is amazing, and I'm very excited to have her join me today. We're going to be making two of her amazing recipes. We're going to start with a Sloppy Joe hand pie. Remember those Sloppy Joes that we were all eating back in the 70s? Well, she decided to make a hand pie out of it, and it has gone bonkers on her website. And then we're going to do a pineapple casserole pie. This is another like 70s recipe that was like brand new with the pineapple and cheese, so I cannot wait to start that. So let's get you introduced to Amanda and get started on this great show today. All right, I am so thrilled to introduce all of you, and many of you may know her, Amanda Wilbanks with Southern Baked Pies. And when we started talking, and we met several years ago, when your first book was out and my first book was out, we're both Georgia Bulldogs.
Go Dogs.
And the Bulldog part of that speaks very highly of our personality types.
Yeah.
But she founded this business in 2012, and I'm going to start by just saying, what in the world? Because you were a marketing major at Georgia Terry School of Business.
Yes. So I really just started baking out of my house. I had graduated with selling insurance and then left that job, got married, moved to a new neighborhood, and I started baking, thinking that'd be a great way to take my neighbors something.
Oh, I know. They loved you in the neighborhood.
Well, the problem was I never made it to a neighbor with a pie because Alex would come in at lunch on his lunch break and eat a slice of pie out of every pie I made. So he either said, you need to stop baking or start selling. So he signed me up for a festival on a Tuesday, and I started selling pies on a Thursday.
Okay, for all of you that you know, now it's Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. Back in the day, it was the festival. It was the pop-up tent. Yep. You know, so part of the reason Amanda is joining us today is that it's National Women-Owned Business Day at the beginning of October. And we just felt like we needed to really pay attention to that because women don't always get the recognition that they deserve. But we also feel like for those of you that may be thinking about starting a business, as she did in your home, it's a lot of hard work.
It's a lot of hard work and a lot of determination and a lot of never accepting no for an answer. It's a lot.
Well, and I think part of this, and she and I have really been talking just nonstop ever since she arrived yesterday, and it's that not taking no for an answer, but recognizing that you want to make sure you do what you have already said that you can do.
That's right.
So rolling those sleeves up, being very active in your business because you are. You're also the mother of 3 children.
Yes, so 3 kids, 15, 10, and one that just turned 6. And you oftentimes miss a lot of those special moments with them, but I think that they look at what we've done, and I hope years from now they'll look back and be really thankful.
Well, I told you that because my children, of course, are much older, but they will look back and remember that because these are the examples of leadership that make a great football team.
That's right.
A great business, a great community
right.
is the leadership that you provide. All right, so tell me, you've got 4 locations.
4 stores, Buckhead, Alpharetta, Gainesville, and Vinings, and you can come in and get a slice of pie. You can get a whole pie. Everything's baked fresh daily. I would say our secret sauce is that everything is still made by hand, and we use an all butter pie crust, so when you eat our pies, like our chicken pot pie or our caramel pecan pie, you're instantly like transported back to...
Well, I'm starving right now.
I know, it's making you hungry. It does. It makes you hungry. And then we ship the pies all over the United States. So great gifts.
Well, and one of the things that we were talking about that's so similar in my mail order business back in the day was that people thought the word frozen was like, that's a bad word. And you and I both know, and you've done blind tests.
Oh, a lot of blind taste tests. And you really cannot tell the difference. And a lot of people don't realize that when you go to the grocery store, your chicken was probably frozen before it got there, and then it thaws out, and then you take it home and freeze it. So frozen food is great. We ship it on dry ice, and in a blind taste test, you can't tell the difference in a fresh baked pecan pie and one that came out of the freezer. I promise you, we've tested it a lot.
Well, I know everybody's going to go to her website and look at it, but what I want you to also recognize today during this process is that she started this. She's rolling out the dough. She's making these pies. She's still very involved. And so to be able to have a niche that is so unique is that this is handmade. I told the story about Oscar de la Renta getting a cake, and I thought he could have bought whatever he wanted to. What was it? And it's what you have. It is beautiful packaging, which makes it a great gift. It's handmade. It uses all fresh ingredients. So we've got a lot to do. She's got some great recipes. We're going to get our aprons on and get in the kitchen. Come back with us. Welcome back, everybody. And if you're just joining me, I'm with Amanda Wilbanks. She's the owner and founder of Southern Baked Pies. And we met years ago and have connected, and we're doing a show featuring women-owned businesses. And I thought she's the perfect candidate. We have so much in common in terms of our careers and our travels. So you're nice enough to share the recipe for these Sloppy Joe hand pies.
I'm so excited.
I know, so tell us what we had to do in advance.
So I had a little bit of work to do ahead to prepare our dough. I did 1 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, a 1/2 teaspoon of sugar, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. 1 stick of very cold butter. It's key that you make sure it is cold. I used a pastry blender to cut in the butter, and I also then added a 1/4 cup of water at the end, just to bring it all together. Don't add too much water. That's one of the places that people make mistakes. They think they have to keep adding water to get it to come together. They need to just put a little bit of elbow grease in it and work and push all of that flour and that butter together so it combines well. It takes a little bit of time. It is made by hand after all. Then I roll out the dough into 1 12-inch circle.
And that's what you're going to do now. All right. So these little tips, Amanda, and I know that it's just second nature to you, but things like elbow grease as opposed to more water is what makes something work.
That's
so
exactly right.
And this, let me tell you something. She works hard on this stuff.
This is another little tip that I share. I like to put the dough between 2 pieces of parchment, and that way I don't have to make as big of a mess and flour the entire surface. And I always tell people, I'm like, put a little hip into it when you do this, otherwise it'll slide across the thing. So get your hip in there and hold the parchment with your hip, and then you just do quarter turns to roll out the dough. And a key, and you already know this, I'm sure, Vera, is that you roll from the middle out and up, and that way you don't get that flat, skinny edge on the side of the pie
and now
crust.
we don't have the flour going everywhere either. This is a great tip. You could use wax paper too.
You could. Right? You could do wax paper or parchment paper, and you can see it'll walk just a little bit. You gotta have some strong hips here to be able to do this. But you just keep rolling it. And sometimes the dough doesn't go into an absolutely perfect circle. That's okay. I tell people you can always pull off a piece and patch it if it starts getting all
well,
wonky.
And we've got one finished here that we're gonna use. So why don't we walk through what you did with the Sloppy Joes?
Of course. So I have my ground beef and onions in the skillet over medium heat until it is no longer pink. I'll cook it just until it's no longer pink, about approximately 8 to 10 minutes. Then we'll drain the excess grease from the meat, mix in the mustard, the salt, the pepper, the Worcestershire, and ketchup, simmer it for 20 minutes, and then remove from the heat.
Oh man, and you know what? I don't know that I know anybody my age that didn't eat the Sloppy Joes. And now all these years later, kids, my grandchildren love Sloppy Joes.
I love them.
All right, so this is your finished product here that you had ready for me.
That's right.
And look at this cute little football template. I love it.
It needs a Georgia G on it. It's missing the bulldog or a
absolute
Georgia G.
sure. But you laminated it so you can, clean this off and use it over and over.
Yes.
And we've got a very sharp knife, and you told me just to go around the edges.
Go around the edges. We're just going to cut these cute little football circles. My kids, I grew up eating Sloppy Joes. My mom would make it. It was like a once a week staple. And we had it on loaf bread or hamburger buns. And my kids, I thought, how fun would it be to take this tasty, all butter, tender crust and turn these into little football hand pies. So what I love about this recipe too is you can make this ahead of time and freeze this in your freezer. So when UGA football season comes around,
they're ready.
We're ready. You have these tailgates. You bring them right out of the freezer, put them on the sheet pan, and bake them.
Well, and two, I think it's important.
Here.
Yeah, we'll put it right here on this.
Perfect. Okay. Got this.
Okay, so that's the bottom, and this is the lid.
That's right.
Okay.
And then a nice spoonful of the meat.
Spoonful.
Yes.
Right in the center.
Right in the center.
As I make a mess.
You're doing amazing. That looks great.
Is that enough?
That is enough. Maybe a little smidge more.
A little.
I always like a little bit more. That's perfect. That made all the difference.
And this flips over. It absolutely.
That little smidge. And literally you just flip it right over, you press it together. So we've just closed up the edges right here just with our hands. You don't even have to use an egg wash, it's gonna stay together because you're gonna take your fork and just crimp around the edges.
I know y'all are gonna make this. All right, so we're gonna finish this during the break. When we come back, we're gonna get started on the pineapple casserole pie. Oh my gosh, I can't wait.
They're gonna love it.
Welcome back, everybody, and I'm having so much fun today with Amanda Wilbanks. If you love pies, you are in the right place. So we've got the Sloppy Joe hand pies. The kitchen just smells amazing right now.
Okay.
But I was so intrigued when we said, Amanda, you could do 2 recipes, and one of them was the pineapple casserole. Y'all, I remember when that was invented, okay? So I just thought this would be so good for this time of year. So tell us what you had to do in advance to get us ready for this segment.
I made one recipe of our Southern Baked famous pie dough. I rolled out the dough into a 12-inch circle. I placed it into a 9-inch pie plate and fluted the edges, or I like to say pleated the edges. I docked or pricked the bottom of the dough with a fork on the bottom and up the sides of the plate, and that will keep it from shrinking. I placed the dough in the freezer for 30 minutes to let it rest. I removed the dough from the freezer and lined the inside of the dough with parchment paper, completely covering the dough. And then I filled it with dried beans. You could use pie weights or you could use rice. And that just keeps it weighted down so it doesn't shrink, and it keeps its form because pie dough will oftentimes shrink because of all that butter. And then I baked it at 375 degrees, my pie crust, for 12 to 15 minutes. I then pulled it out and removed the beans and the parchment paper, and I returned the pie plate to the oven to bake for an additional 15 to 20 minutes. That way the pie dough would be completely baked.
Wow, and just look at it. It is beautiful. And you know, she described earlier that it's just real buttery and that the butter had to be really cold. So this is amazing. So I'm going back in time right this minute with this pineapple casserole pie because that's way back for me. All right, so tell us what we're gonna do for the filling for this one.
So the filling has pineapples. You drain the pineapples so that you don't have all that water in there.
And this is just canned pineapple.
This is just canned pineapple, very simple. Or you could use fresh pineapple and cut it up if you have it. Canned pineapple though is pretty good. We're gonna take this and we're gonna add in a little bit of flour to this, sugar,
all the good stuff.
all the good stuff. So although the pineapple's sweet, we're adding a little bit more sweetness. And then I mix this and just kind of toss this together. And you'll see that a little bit of a syrupy mixture starts to form. You want to start seeing that. You'll know that it's about ready at that point. So just keep mixing. And then we're going to add in the cheese. So that gives you that salty, good cheddar flavor.
And look here, y'all, she hand grates her cheese just like I talk about all the time.
That makes
so
it
I'm not kidding.
Everything is truly from scratch that we do at Southern Baked. And it's these little things that make the difference. Your cheese will actually melt. It doesn't have that coating on it that keeps it from melting. Okay, so we've mixed this together really well. And we're gonna take and put this into the pie plate. Take that off. Oh, you might need that to dump that in there. You want me to help you?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. So put it in your pie plate. And the thing I love about this recipe is it's simple. Simple stuff can taste so great. It doesn't have to be over the top with 100 ingredients in it. It can be basic with just a couple of key things.
Love it.
So we would have this every year at Easter, and we would have it with ham. It's great to serve as a side dish. And now we're gonna add the pineapple juice over the top.
We used to make popsicles out of this. We would drain the pineapple out of the pan and do our little popsicle holders, and I would eat popsicle.
Oh, that's
pineapple popsicles.
Pineapple popsicles. That sounds so good. That's a good summer treat for sure. All right, then we're gonna add the Ritz topping.
Well, here, let me do that.
Ritz crackers cut up, crushed.
Okay, I wonder if Ritz Crackers has ever done a cookbook.
I don't know, but they
think about all the things that we've all made that have Ritz Crackers.
I even take Ritz crackers, roll my chicken tenders in butter, and then I'll roll them in Ritz and cheddar cheese and bake it.
Okay, does that look like enough?
That looks like enough.
Okay.
That looks plenty to me. And then we're gonna take and pour the butter just kind of over the Ritz cracker topping.
And this is why we do a sheet pan and a
Yes.
piece of parchment paper, because it may boil over just a little bit. You want to get the rest of that butter out
Get
of
the rest
there.
of that out, that buttery goodness right here.
And then this is going to bake.
This is going to bake at 350 for about 40 minutes.
All right, so when we come back from the break, we're going to get all of this set up. Y'all, her packaging is so beautiful. But what is the best is the box is pretty, but look what's going to be inside. All right, so come back with us in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody. And didn't I say we were going to have a beautiful presentation? Amanda, everything just looks amazing. So we are celebrating women-owned businesses and the fact that we're both Georgia Bulldogs. There's a bulldog feature going on here because we don't take no for an answer.
Right.
We work really hard. We go after it.
We do.
So you have got to tell the story that you told me yesterday.
Oh my goodness. So when I first signed up for a festival to sell my pies for the first time, we got in, we did great. We were selling the slices of pies at $4 a slice. And we were like, oh my gosh, that's Sunday.
We're rich.
We're rich. We made it in life. And so I said, we got to get signed up for another festival. And there was a festival that I kept emailing about and calling. It was the following Thursday. So not a lot of time right there. So I Facebooked, I emailed. This was back in 2012 where probably nobody answered that. Nobody would call me back, left voicemails. Finally, I thought, I'm going to call 911. So I called 911 and I asked for the Dawson County Sheriff's Office and I said, I need to speak to the sheriff. It's a non-emergency. They patched me through to him, left him a voicemail. He called me back. And by that day, I called him finally on Wednesday. I wasn't going to take no for an answer. The festival started on Thursday. I had a booth. He connected me with the organizer and we sold pies that week.
Oh my goodness.
So-
Well, that's the key is getting it done. All right, so let's walk back through what we did today.
Oh my goodness. Well, we made our football hand pies, which are in my cookbook. I grew up eating these sloppy joes and they're just a fun, tasty treat. You can put a dipping sauce with them. I actually have an Alabama white barbecue sauce in my cookbook.
Okay.
It would be so good to dip them in. And then we made the pineapple casserole pie, which is...
It's everything I remember.
I know, and it's sweet and salty and delicious. You've got the cracker crumbs on top, that delicious buttery topping, and it's simple. Little ingredients, great flavor, and that's the way I
Well,
like to
and
cook.
we ended up having a call a while back about our chicken pot pie recipe that's in our cookbook, and somebody said, well, it's not slicing exactly right. So, certain pies you really kind of dip out with a spoon
You do.
as opposed to a beautiful slice.
Beautiful slice.
But just all kinds of garnishing that you could do with that as well. So one of the things that I certainly want to point out here is some of the similarities that made you being part of this with me today so fabulous is just look at how beautiful her packaging is.
Thank you, Vera.
And when you take it out of the box, that's what it looks like. It was made by hand. So tell us a little bit about catering as well.
Oh, for sure. So we have 4 retail stores and we have these beautiful pie shops. You come in, the pies are fresh baked.
And tell me where those are again.
Atlanta, we have them in Buckhead, Alpharetta, Vinings, and Gainesville. So if you're in the Atlanta area, I'd love for you to stop
absolutely.
in and
They're
see
so
it.
cute.
And then we ship them all over the United States. So they come in the beautiful blue boxes. It's a beautiful gift that arrives on
And
the
it
front
says
porch.
memorable meals in minutes.
That's right. And
Love that.
literally, I tell people, you can take it out of the box and hand it to your husband, and he's never going to know the difference.
We used to say that too.
Yes, you did.
Oh man.
So-
Well, and okay, so what about Pie of the Month?
Okay, so Pie of the Month Club, we do an amazing Pie of the Month Club. We send you a new pie every month. You can pick it if you would like, or we.
That's a great gift
It's
too.
a good gift to give. Sign somebody up for a 3-month or a 6-month. And I always say it's a great gift to give, for a sympathy gift,
Mm-hmm.
or if someone passes away or someone has a baby. In the South, we take food.
Oh,
That's our love
absolutely.
language.
Absolutely.
So it's great to ship them a dinner and dessert in one box. They're going to open it. It's a beautiful presentation, and it tastes as good as it looks. That's
Well,
the
and corporate gifting has got to be a huge part of your business.
It is. That in the fourth quarter is one of the biggest parts of our business.
Mm-hmm.
Companies like Delta and Coca-Cola, amazing companies, ship our pies all over the United States to their clients and their customers.
And people are just wowed. We were talking about what are your top 5 states, and you said one of them was California. California. It's because they can't get this out
get
there.
that. They don't
You know, and it's a taste of the South that really brings comfort and excitement and good taste to no matter where you are. All right, so the gift cards also.
Gift cards, you can get gift cards online, and then you can give them to people. They can pick out their pie and ship exactly what they want to their doorsteps. And if you've never tried our pies, our chicken pot pie is the best with Springer Mountain chicken. We make our own homemade roux. I'm telling you, it is game
It's
changing.
so good. Well, as we wrap up, I certainly want to expand again on the women-owned business and what sometimes you deal with, like, you know, am I going to miss the baseball game, or am I, you know, give some insight to somebody that might be thinking about starting their own business.
For sure. Well, I have such respect for you and have admired you for years and watched your story and your cookbooks. And I just know how hard it is when you start in business. You have this dream and you think it's going to be all easy and fun, but there's those tough days. And I would just encourage any woman in business to push through.
Oh,
Don't
absolutely.
take no for an answer. You are going to be there for your kids' most important moments, and they'll have a lot of respect for you and appreciation when they realize all that you've accomplished and all that you've done. I know your kids are very proud.
Well, what a great note to end on. And thank you, Amanda, for joining us and all the insight that you gave and your great recipes. And remember, no matter what you do, do it in good taste. And I hope you will all come back to see us next week and follow Amanda.